We're live. Good day, loves. Welcome to this moment and welcome back to the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast. Eventually, we will have a theme song, but in the meantime, this is episode 118, and we are talking about symbols. We're talking about the role of symbols, astrology, and gratitude in shaping the human experience. So, we're talking about how it helps us make our choices and move through our emotions and life and all them things. So, if you are excited for that, hey, love, welcome to this moment. Instagram land, YouTube land, and Facebook land. I'm Coach Tensi, and this is
Fuzzy Wuzzy the bear.
Fuzzy Wuzzy.
The bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
Fuzzy Wuzzy didn't care. I don't know the rhyme. I've heard it before, I just don't remember.
Anyway, I'm Coach Soul. Hey guys. Hello
Yes.
guys.
Welcome to this early day, because ain't nobody morning out here. Anyway, so we have, of course, this is Friday, so we're getting into Shine, all aspects of really no strings attached, sharing honest expressions, and how we can do that in our homes, in our families, in our communities, in a way that we're passing on patterns and habits that are empowering for our next generations. So if they saw us doing the things, they're like, I can do the things, and I'm empowered to do the things, and we're doing the things. So let's get into it.
Yeah, today's topics are really interconnected with how we often touch on community engagement on Shine Days. But it's more, the personal side, the individual personal side of that, because we're talking about influences, talking about the most used and most ancient and most understood influences. Now, when I say most understood, what I mean is we've been using them the longest.
You mean humankind?
Humankind has been using them the longest. But it's also the most slept on came to mind, but I want to, what's the white way of saying slept on?
The unappreciated,
unappreciated,
or like
misunderstood.
I'm trying to. There's a word that's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, mine too.
Like not overrated but underrated.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
The most missed and hidden and subtle influences, way that we influence ourselves, or the way that human beings are influenced, which is through the language of symbols. Now, I say the language of symbols. All languages are symbols. Words are symbols. Letters are symbols.
Sound
letters in other letters in other written languages are complex symbols versus like English and Spanish right now, and like the Latin languages, it's just the letter itself. But you can say like for Hebrew and for Mandarin and Cantonese and all of these things, it's like they build their sounds off of the shape symbols, symbol shapes.
You can also think back to the hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphs were whole pictures. So, and that was indeed a written language in pictures. So symbols, they're everywhere. Objects, signs, shapes, obviously, sounds, ideas, people can be symbols. All of these things, right? For instance, you draw what looks like a butt, and then you connect it with a point at the end, and it looks like, and we call it a heart shape, but your heart is not shaped anything like that. That's more like a butt.
So, when we are looking at symbols, and we're on this journey of holistic freedom, we're on this journey to reverse autoimmunity in our families and ourselves and in our communities, so that we can really have that health. And if you're a working mom listening, then you know that it can be a challenge to navigate some of life's uh, things going on and challenges when you are unaware of what's going on around you. So sometimes it's helpful to look into some of these patterns of the symbols. And there's an excerpt from your book that I know that is good to share. But in the meantime, I just wanted to remind us all that just like in astrology, how the planets affect different people in different ways, like each planet represents a different energy. And depending on, I don't know if you follow it, but if you do, you know that depending on when you were born, where you were born in the universe, it different how the planets are moving will affect you accordingly. So, for example, the sun represents and carries the energy of, say, the outward expression, the ego.
I'm the sun. Get it? Ego.
Coach Soul, sun, got it. The moon carries the energy of the emotions, so the inward expression. Mars is like action taking, like a self starting type energy. The planet Venus is like the love energy. It's connecting in your intimate relationships, your romantic relationships, your friendships, whatever it is, dealing with not just love, but your relationships.
Saturn is like lessons and hardships.
Saturn is like, on one hand, limitations, on the other hand, restrictions, or it could be like the parameters,
Containers.
the containers. And it's good to have a container, to a point, right? So Pluto is like a diving deep into the fears, the looking beneath the surface, what's really going on, beyond how it just looks. So that can be a deep healer, a deep healing type. So just to paint the picture that the different planets carry different energies and they affect us differently depending on what's going on in the cosmos.
And so what did we do? What's the first thing that human beings did in attempting to understand these influences that correspond with the movements of these celestial bodies? Well, we made them into symbols, right? And I actually, to not illustrate that point directly, but to tie it in to the rest of today's topic, I'm going to read a little excerpt from my book that I wrote. It's called Culture Control. Check it out, and talks about all things human and whatnot. And not all things human. Human beings are crazy complicated, but I talk about a lot, especially how we are influenced. And so in chapter, 14, called Another Look at Human Nature, here's a short excerpt. Symbols can be people, things, images, sounds, dances, words and phrases, and even feelings. Almost anything can be symbolic to the human mind because we learn through association and patterns. When symbols are employed by those that are controlling popular media to intentionally create unquestioning followers for their agendas, for their agendas, pardon me, these symbols become invisible, okay, to the target populace due to their sheer saturation. Letters serve as symbols for spelling, while slogans and logos are crafted as symbols to evoke emotional responses and associations, compelling actions like purchasing specific brands or voting for a particular outcome. Individual people can embody symbols of power, symbols of triumph. Individuals can have various traits that they symbolize through their actions or through their branding. And as we know, many celebrities and uh, um social media influencers opt to assume the role of a sex symbol. Hand signs function as symbols to signify devotion and allegiance. Company uniforms are symbolic of compliance and at times conformity. All kinds of symbols serve to guide our subconscious responses to different stimuli. They compel us to buy, watch, believe or disbelieve, remember or forget, and like or dislike things in our lives. Here's a quote from Manly Hall to tie it all together. Symbolism is the language of the mysteries. By symbols, men have ever sought to communicate to each other those thoughts which transcend the limitations of language. So, how this understanding can be put to use when we are in our communities and at work and at home and things like that is understanding the associations that we've made with various symbols that we've created, as well as what we are symbolizing in our own homes and in our own actions. And when you begin to understand that no, you're not a symbol, merely a symbol, and merely an unchanging symbol for some idea out there, but that you are symbolizing and exemplifying different associations and different patterns in everybody's mind who you come across or who comes across you and your sphere of influence, that you are symbolizing things to them, then that allows you to take a bird's eye view of what you're doing. Maybe think, am I moving myself and others toward the world that I want to see or away from the world that I want to see? And what am I symbolizing? Am I symbolizing harmony? Am I symbolizing truth? Am I symbolizing what I want to, or am I symbolizing other things? And why? If other things, why am I, symbolizing things that I don't want to, concepts that aren't really true to my heart, and how to change that.
How am I sharing honestly? How am I really, am I embodying to others the essence of what I really want to see in the world? Yeah. I thank you for sharing that, because I think that that moment of reflection is key, especially when we're, say, you already, you do your work, you might volunteer, you have these things that you are committed to doing in your community or at work and at home, but it's like, okay, it's a very timely time to reevaluate, does this align with the vision of freedom, holistic freedom that I have for my life? If I continued business as usual, would I would I be living from what I call my thrive zone, which is the space where three things meet: what you love, what you need, and what you're called to in your spirit, or what you're ready for, right? So every day, every time we are getting ready to do something, just thinking back through, okay, so these different symbols in my life, what are they aligned? Are they not aligned? What do I want to tweak? What can I little change to really to realign with where I'm looking to go? So let's tie this in a little bit to getting to where you want to go. And one of the ways that we can do that is by utilizing the power of gratitude. Because gratitude, everything, first of all, everything has its own energy that we already talked about. Symbols have energy. The words that we say has energy, and emotions have energy. It has its own frequency. And the more that we can get in alignment to the feelings, the thinking patterns, the responses of who we are in our visions of freedom, then it's easier when we can feel what it truly means to live a life that makes us feel fulfilled. Then when we start to see things come in our lives that kind of look like some of the things in our vision, we'll know how to act. Literally, we'll know how to respond. We'll know how to meet those things in a way that we can keep them. And it's not just a fleeting, oh, this thing happened and then, oh, the crash down again and blah, blah, blah. It's going to sound woo woo, but the universe is able to meet you. It's able to meet you when we're coming from a space of gratitude.
Right. And another way to look at that, other people are able to meet you with that. The alignment between you and the like-minded individuals that either are around you or that you're going to meet for the first time are able to meet you in that state of being, in that vibration. So how to best connect our emotion, our internal world with the influences that are out there. Okay, I'm trying to put together the question so that when I answer it, it clicks something very specific. Excuse the choppiness of my question.
Say it again.
Basically, how can we best shape our internal connection to our external experiences with the understanding of everything is associated, everything is symbolic, right? That answer is we have to associate as much as we can, or at least within reason, as much as we can, with a reason to be grateful and thankful. Okay, so associating what we experience with things to be grateful for.
Even if it's just grateful for the awareness of what's going on.
Right. And finding gratitude in as many situations as possible is how we don't lose momentum in our choice to become our best version of ourselves, or our path to become the best version of ourselves. Gratitude is the amplifying vibration that makes bigger and makes bolder your internal goodness environment, right? Let's say you have an internal light and an internal shadow. Gratitude makes bigger the light. And so when we are moving in gratitude, when we are doing work in gratitude, when we are associating meetings and moments where we have to practice patience and moments where we have to hurry up and get it done.
Yeah.
With gratitude, then that is amplifying the light within us that anybody can recognize, right? Or at least anybody that is going to positively influence your life can recognize. We are stepping on our best foot when we are stepping in gratitude.
So when we are on our journeys, just tying it back to the Working Mama on the Holistic Health journey, let's take a moment just to acknowledge and feel grateful for our small wins. I like our little micro victories. Or like, for example, if you one day you have the energy to just play with your kids and it's like the best thing ever, that is a small victory. Okay. Or one day you notice that you don't have no brain fog. What? That is amazing. So just taking a moment to acknowledge whatever the win is, however small it is, it will begin to create that feeling tone, that frequency that can be matched. Kind of like how donations get matched whenever you donate to a certain charity and they're like, we'll match up to $5,000 of donations, blah blah blah. And it's similar to that. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the ways that we can really hone in on gratitude a little bit more, maybe with a closing meditation on gratitude.
What?
Maybe a little gratitude mini meditation. Maybe.
She has my necklace.
Babe, don't shut me down, babe. Okay, let me get Omi because she's hype. She's up. She's trying to nibble at my chin. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry for the silence there. The before that, just the connections that we're making in this episode are understanding that our brains are symbol association machines, right? They are designed to associate experiences and associate shapes, people, ideas, colors with concepts. Okay, and through that association, whatever is being associated becomes a symbol, even yourself to yourself. I mean, of course, yourself to other people. So that's the first takeaway: is understanding how we come to learn is through symbolic connection between experiences and concepts. Secondly, when we learn to train our mind to connect more and more experiences with gratitude, then we have a higher appreciation for the experiences that we have, as well as gain more momentum and keep more momentum in line with our spiritual and emotional and mental goals and aspirations for our internal environment, as well as more energy to work on our goals for our external environment, getting the house, getting the connections, getting the opportunities, whatever it is, right? And yeah, so that's the major takeaways. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, Tensi put in the notes that I'm gonna do a little meditation on gratitude, and I don't mind. Well, we can close out with that. Just before we begin, make sure you hit the link in the description and link in the bio. Get yourself a copy of Culture Control by Soul Expression. Culture Control. It's a wonderful, wonderful book that I put my heart and soul into and will teach you a whole lot. Also, we have an event on January 20th that you'll be able to get tickets to very, very soon. I'll definitely say by next Friday, you should be able to start getting, some early bird tickets and see flyers and send flyers around, see if your friends are interested, all of these type of things here in Austin, Texas. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this guided meditation. So first, I always start guided meditations with an invitation to just get very comfortable where you're at. It's the early morning, so hopefully you're not already on your way to work. If you are, then as comfortable as you can, even if you're walking, and just find, your comfort. Find some comfort for a moment. And we can take a couple deep breaths just to warm up our spirit for what's to come. So let's go in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. And one more in. Now. It's good. So now I invite you to close your eyes. And in the very subtle relaxation that may already be taking place on its own, find a reason to be grateful, sending thankfulness to and throughout your body for sustaining the life you live thus far, and to spirit for creating said life. There's nothing to become, nothing to change, simply the presence of your own life to be grateful for. All that you've learned, all that you've overcome, all that you may learn, all that you may overcome. Gratitude is felt, but is not merely a feeling. I challenge you to tap into the flow of gratitude and harmonize with it. You don't have to wait for a specific accomplishment or opportunity to be in gratitude. You can flow with gratitude as a 5-year-old or as a 500-year-old, and anything in between. As you are enough. And in being enough, you can be grateful. Smile at your heart. Smile at your body. Smile at your mind. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Blow it out the mouth. I think we'll call that short meditation. Thank you all so very, very much for tuning in, and we will see you Monday for B-Day. Peace.